Welcome to the Older Kids Podcast, where we revisit movies from our childhood and see if they still hold up. I am Elliott GB. First off, I want to say if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. If you could make sure to smash that like button, hit that subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you know anytime we drop a new episode or a clip or just any sort of video. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rating and review, 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars. Anything below that is not legal. That would really help a lot. And just make sure to subscribe wherever you're listening to this, wherever you're watching. It should be on YouTube if you're watching, but maybe we're getting pirated. That'd be cool. That'd be neat. Also, make sure to follow the podcast on all social media platforms at The Older Kids Pod, so you stay up to date on fun behind the scenes stuff for movies, for this podcast, just an all around good time. Also, if you want to show your support for the podcast, head over to our Patreon, where for just $2 a month, less than a cup of coffee, you can show your support for this great podcast. And for a few dollars more than that, you can get a shout out on the podcast. You can get a chance to suggest a movie for us to do. That's democracy at work. And where else can you find that right now? I'm not here to get political, but I'm just fucking saying. So go over and do that. Also, for a few dollars more, I believe it's $1,000, you can come on the podcast. I don't think anyone's going to do it, but I won't say no. So head over to patreon.com/theolderkidspod to show your support. Appreciate it so much. Thank you for listening. Now, we have a very special episode today. This episode was recorded about a week ago. We had some technical issues, so we're having to do a re-recording. But we're back, and I believe we're about to be better than ever with the one, the only, the very funny, Miss Jacquie Brown.
Can I have an Azuga?
Azuga.
Hey guys, what's up?
Welcome back. First time for them to see, but...
I like that we're just leaning into the fact that we're not going to pretend this is the first time. We're just like, no, we fucked up.
No, and I started this podcast because I'm all about transparency. I want people to know what's up, what's down, what's going around.
All of the directions.
And that's what I say. I say, you ask me a direction and I'll tell you what's going on over there.
Yeah, I can attest that in all my time knowing you, you've been a very directional man.
And thank you so much. I might just get t-shirts that say that, just directional man. I'm a directional man. Well, thanks for coming on.
Having me.
Yes. And today we are talking about was it 1990?
Somewhere in there. I don't remember what year. Do you want me to look?
We're talking, no, we'll be fine. We're talking about the 90s Christmas classic, Home Alone.
Where are you going? We're gonna miss the plane!
When the McAllister family left on their Christmas vacation,
Did we miss the plane? No, you just made it.
they forgot one small thing.
Have yourself
A terrible feeling. Did you lock up?
yourself delight.
Do we set the timers on the lights?
What else could we be forgetting?
Our troubles will be ours.
Kevin!
Home Alone.
Police in the northern suburbs are on the lookout for a pair of burglars who are calling themselves the Wet Bandits.
We know that you're in there.
It's Santa Claus and it's Elf.
Get off my property.
This is my house. I have to defend it.
Where's your mother?
My mom's in the car.
Where's your father?
He's at work.
What about your brothers and sisters?
I'm an only child.
Where do you live?
Can't tell you that.
Why not?
Because you're a stranger.
He's a kid. I mean, what can a kid do to us?
Kids are stupid. I know I was. You still are, Mark.
This is it.
I don't care if I have to get out on your runway and hitchhike. I am going to get home to my son.
Yes! Where are you, you little creep? I'm gonna kill that kid! Why'd you take your shoes off?
Why do you dress like a chicken?
Gus Polinski, polka king of the Midwest. If you have to get to Chicago, we'll gladly drive you.
Hey, guys.
Yesterday, he was just a kid. But tonight, he's a home security system.
You guys give up or you're thirsty for more?
From John Hughes.
You know, I got a feeling this is going to be your best Christmas ever.
A family comedy without the family. Home Alone.
Are you here all alone?
I'm 8 years old. You think I'd be here alone? I don't think so.
Wow, what a trailer we just watched.
Yeah. I mean, when you asked me to do this podcast, I mean, we had a moment about Disney films where I was like, I don't like Disney movies. Did we talk about that? I think we should talk about that first.
Let's bring it up. Let's dive deep.
I don't. So you told me to pick a movie, and I mean, I thought for children's movies, like one would probably assume Disney would be very popular, but
Yes.
I'm just not a big Disney fan.
Why? Like,
I don't
there's
know.
no Disney movie you like?
I mean, not that I can think of. I just always felt like they were too, like, I don't know. I don't like Disney. I've never liked Disney. But Home Alone, I'm glad you let me pick this as, like, a kid's movie. I feel like I'm not even touching the Disney thing. Let's just say adults who like Disney in adulthood are weird. You agree with that, right?
Wow, big claims, listeners, call in. No, I do agree. The adults that, like, if I'm on an app, if I'm on one of the apps and someone's profile comes up, I don't know why I'm not saying dating app, like it just fucking, if I'm on one of the apps and someone's profile comes up and they have like Disney shit, I'm like, nah,
People have it in their dating profiles.
They do.
Disney.
They do. And that's like, I'm like, do you know, there's so much going on in the world right now. And I don't know why that's my go-to, but I'm like, do you know what's going on with the economy and you want to have fucking Mickey Mouse ears?
I'm sorry, but I think an obsession with Disney into adulthood is a serious signifier of underlying unresolved issues.
I could see
I'm just
that.
going to put it out there. I really think it is. Like, I don't know.
Well, okay, wait. So then what about like Harry Potter? Is that on the same?
I love Harry Potter.
Oh, there we go. Interesting.
I feel like the themes and the content of Harry Potter is a lot more adult, and I like how I'm defending it. This one's okay because I like it. No, I just feel like Harry Potter is a little different. But people who are obsessed with fucking Disney princesses and like people who get proposed to at Disneyland or take like a vacation and go to Disneyland or go there for their anniversary and pose in pictures with their husband in fucking mouse ears and shit. I don't know.
Have you ever been to Disneyland or Disney World?
Yeah, of course I have.
Okay, well, interesting. Okay.
I'm not the type of person that would hate on something that I've never actually experienced firsthand. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you were like, I don't think I'm going to like this. And then you got there and you took 2 steps and you're like, oh, yeah, I was right. Fuck this place.
Just me as a 7-year-old kid, just like, yeah, fuck this place.
Yeah, fuck this place. I don't like it. I don't like the mouse ears. I don't like the people.
None of it. I don't like any of it. Get it out of my face. I don't want
Damn, okay. So then why'd you choose this movie?
I'm just more of like a universal, like,
I don't know. Universal head?
Is that what they call it?
That's what they do now.
No, just like, I don't know. Anyway, so I was happy. That's the transition, I guess. I was happy that you let me choose Home Alone. I mean,
it's a classic. This has come up on multiple episodes about other movies. So
you're saying that.
You got.
So I think I'm glad that we did it, that we're doing it.
Yeah.
That it's being done.
Oh, it's being done. We're doing the damn thing. We're doing it.
Yeah, I love this movie. I think like for me, it just touches on so many, I don't know, like things as a kid that you want to be alone, you want to be independent. The idea of being able to eat pizza and ice cream and have no repercussions of like parents telling you what to do. People breaking into your house, you know, like all kids' fantasies, what they want. No, yeah, but in rewatching it, I forgot how mean they were to Kevin.
It's a fucked up family. It's a very toxic, home life. And I mean, I obviously remember it as a kid. I don't remember that part, but I remember the movie as a kid. And being like, yeah, it's this kid and his family leaves him, and then he's, left to his own devices, but he makes it work and it's fun. And then it's I kind of pictured like I remembered the dynamic between him and the burglars being more of like a Tom and Jerry type thing, where they're both just kind of like participating and going at it, and it's like that. Did not realize he's like cold-blooded hunting them, and that's just sort of what he's doing. But I also did not click at all that his family was just so terrible towards, specifically towards him.
He's like the youngest or second youngest. There's the one that wets the bed.
Fuller.
That may be, the actual youngest.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. And even the burglars stop caring about stealing stuff, and they just want to kill Kevin, this kid. They get so pissed that he's outsmarting them. They just actually want to kill this child.
Yeah.
And we're like Americans just eating popcorn, like, this is fucking hilarious. This is great. I love this. Yeah, it was pretty nuts, but one of my favorites.
I mean, so did it hold up to you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it held up. I've seen it 10 million times, so I don't know if I would like. But I mean, it's one of those films. If not that I mean, nowadays no one has cable anymore, so it's not like you have just like TV on in the background with random shit like you don't plan on turning on.
Yeah.
But it was one of those shows where if it was on, you'd kind of like sit down and be like, I'll watch this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I thought about that too. And rewatching it with this, I'm like, oh, I could watch this maybe like once a year, but I don't know if I'm like going to make that choice, If I have some time, if I'll be like, yeah, I'll put if I walk in, like one of my roommates is watching it, I'll check it out. But when I was watching it on HBO through Hulu, it did say that it, you could obviously stream it, or it's playing on HBO at like 9 p.m. on Thursday. And I was like, who the fuck has that impulse control where they're like, oh, I could watch it right now, or I'm going to wait and watch, like, I don't know. That's a weird thing I've noticed is now nothing is like scheduled anymore. It's just all shows come out. They come out all at once, and you can just sit there and watch them all, or I don't know.
Kids these days, they don't know what it was like to walk in and like golf was on,
and that's
you're just like,
all you and like, and golf was the best choice too. Like you scan through everything, and you're like, I guess I'm just watching golf.
I guess this is what I'm going to fall asleep to.
Yep. I'm a fucking golf fan now until this is over and I can watch something else. But
could you imagine? Like, I mean, I remember it vaguely, like having to wait to watch something. That sounds awful.
I'm so thankful that we've made it past those terrible times, those dark times in our history as human beings. We have evolved.
Yeah.
And then even that, it's like everything is on YouTube now, such as the Older Kids podcast. If you're not watching it along, go check it out and subscribe. But even if something's not on TV, you're like, okay, let me go to YouTube and just watch whatever.
Even recently, my mom, who's really young, like isn't an old mom, like she had me when she was 18, was a very young mom, was talking about like, I was asking her what she was doing, and she was like, oh, The Office is about to come on TV, so I'm going to watch The Office. And I go, what do you mean it's about to come on TV? She was like, oh, well, it's on at whatever, 5:30 or whatever. And I was like, wait, have you seen The Office before, or this is the first time you've seen it? She's like, yeah, I never know what episode's going to be on. And I'm like, so not only do you have to wait to watch it at a certain time, but it doesn't even play the episodes in order.
Yeah.
You've seen The Office like front to back, like in the order it should be. And she's like, no. And I was like, okay, we're giving you my Netflix password. Yeah. And she's like, wait, you can pick anything you want to watch anytime? And it was like, I feel like this is a commercial for Netflix, basically.
Oh my God.
I was like, it was weird. I was so happy to share Netflix with her.
Yeah, you're like giving her this gift. You're like, this will enrich your life. So
yeah.
Also, that just sounds like a horror movie now, or it's like you can't watch it whenever you want, and you have no control over what shows up.
Yeah, because it's not like it's airing live, like next week on whatever show. It's like, no, she literally was like, oh, do Jim and Pam ever get engaged? Because now, or what if it's like Jim and Pam are just dating, and in the next episode they show, sorry for the spoiler alert,
if you haven't seen The Office, pause this right now, look in the mirror, think about your life, make some changes, and then go watch The Office.
So anyway, Jim and Pam end up getting married, y'all.
What if I'm like, wait, fuck, no, I haven't seen it. Hold on.
Wait, what? And have a baby. And anyway, so like, well, yeah, that would suck if you're watching and they're like early dating, and then the episode it happens to show is something later where they're talking about getting a babysitter and how it's ruined.
I mean, that's good on you for bringing someone into the light like you did. You are a hero. You are a saint. Your work has been noticed. So thank you.
It's my pleasure.
But getting back to Home Alone here.
Sorry.
No, his home life was, I had that as a low because it was something that it's like not necessary.
It was overkill.
Yeah, like they really fucking went in on this kid. And it's not like they were mean to each other, like they're just that type of family where they're just like, fuck you, and it's like, that's how we talk. It's like everyone is like, we're just gonna openly hate this kid and say that he's being a brat. Even in the description for the movie, it was like Kevin's being a brat and blah, and it's like, no, he's just being a little kid.
Yeah, he really wasn't being that bad, but also in the times that he was kind of being a little bratty, it was in direct response to them being shitty to him.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I wrote down a couple things they've said, like at the end where she ends up sending him to the attic, without dinner, she ends up saying, like, he says, which I don't know, like, kids, they say and they test you, and like, so it's like she should have been an adult and like known he was just being bratty, like not actually, So he said, I hope I never see you again. And she goes, then say it again. Maybe it'll happen.
I didn't want to see you again for the rest of my whole life. And I didn't want to see anybody else either.
I hope you don't mean that. You'd feel pretty sad if you woke up tomorrow morning and you didn't have a family.
No, I wouldn't.
Then say it again. Maybe it'll happen.
I hope I never see any of you jerks again.
Like threatening abandonment.
Yeah, that's like fucking do it, bro. See what happens. She fucking punks him out. That scene too really struck me because it was, you're right, in direct response to them being shitty, and he's just like, I'm just trying to do whatever, and they're like, no, out of all the people in this house, you're the one causing shit, and it's like everyone ate his pizza.
Did anyone order me a plain cheese?
Well, yeah, we did. But if you want any, somebody's gonna have to barf it all up, because it's gone.
They all know he doesn't like whatever, and they just collectively got on the same page, and we're like, all right, so we're gonna eat his first, not because we want to, just because fuck him. And then, he gets angry, then you got fucking Uncle Frank.
Look what you did, you little jerk!
After just like a glass of milk gets knocked over. It's not like huge.
He knows I ate sausage and olives and
Look what
onions
you did, you little jerk!
Kevin, get upstairs right now.
It's kind of like they have this saying, like, ain't no use crying over spilled milk. Is that the saying?
I think it started after this.
Uncle Frank freaked out.
Uncle Frank did his damn thing. Yeah, and then they go upstairs, and she says that, and then he like says something, and then she gets hurt and is like, I hope you don't mean that. Like, I hope, and it's like, look at how you're treating him, and you're like really surprised that he's like, I don't want to be a part of this family anymore because you're mad at me for being a kid.
Yeah.
But I did notice though, there's an interesting duality between him and his family, because his family is mean on the outside, right? They're very mean on the outside. But once they figure out that he's not there, it takes time for some of them to come around. mainly Buzz, but deep down they do actually care about him, and they are like worried, and they're like, okay, we got to get back, we got to make sure he's good.
However, because I agree with you, that does happen. But if now that we know there's a second film,
yeah, that's true.
This is so this is such of like a toxic relationship that they do, like something bad happens and then they like realize he's gone and then they're actually like soft and whatever. But what do? They forget him again.
Okay. At that point, I feel like you got to be like, all right, let's put a fucking bell on this kid or something. Like, we need to know where he is at all times.
Or I don't know, maybe we shouldn't have so many children. I don't know. Maybe I should be a better mom. I don't know. Maybe.
That's true. I think at that point, though, if you're like, maybe we shouldn't have too many kids, you can't just like, maybe that's what they were trying to do. They were like, look, we have too many kids. We've known this one the least amount of time, so we're not as attached to him.
And he's kind of a dick.
And he's already proven that he can fucking handle his own, so.
It made me think, like, you know how Kevin's like, you guys ate my pizza because he ordered, what was it? I don't know what kind of pizza it was, a cheese pizza.
Yeah, he just wanted cheese.
Yeah, I feel like he's a future vegan or vegetarian in the making.
Oh God, he's probably fucking. But he was like one of those vegans that's like, I'm vegan, right?
Yeah,
and they could tell right away.
Yeah, at a party, he has people order him like a meatless pizza, but then everybody eats the meatless pizza.
Yeah.
And it's that guy.
What if he just has bad pizza luck for his whole life? So this just continually happens to him. And then he snaps. Well, okay, so I was going to say with the duality thing. So like his family is like they act one way, but then deep down they're the other. And he's the same, but he's the opposite. Because he's like, I don't know, like I care about you guys, whatever. Like he's the caring one. But then deep down you see he's fucked. Like, this kid is evil, and he can really do some evil shit.
Because even me as an adult, I'd have to sit down and think, like, well, no, let's back up. I would just call the cops if someone was breaking in. I wouldn't be like, how can I torture these people breaking into my home? And not only how, but, like, I have a backlog of ideas.
Yeah, I got a list of fucking plans that we're going to get to. Well, okay, so we went over this last time, but there are a few theories about this movie. The big one I'll save for the end, but there's I'll do the ones that don't really hold up. Kevin is dead the whole time.
Yeah, I didn't like
that. And that's why, but that doesn't, because they like talk to him, they
too much interaction, yeah.
Yeah, they interact. There's one that Uncle Frank set the whole thing up and wanted Kevin killed.
I kind of like that one.
That one tracks. It tracks a little bit because Uncle Frank really does not like this kid for whatever reason.
I think you mentioned last time too that not just that he wanted Kevin killed, but that he set it up like the burglary, right?
Yeah. So he set the burglary up. I think the one with that he wanted Kevin killed was because Uncle Frank was the one who threw his ticket away when he was like cleaning up all the milk. So they were like, he did it on purpose, but like fucking whatever. The main chunk of it was Frank set up the burglary on his brother's house because he was jealous of whatever. And you see how Frank is cheap. Like he steals the salt and pepper shakers or whatever. And
thank you. That's real. That's real crystal. Yeah. It's real. So? Put them in your purse. Put them. Just put them in your purse. Fill it up, please.
This does have white trash written all over it.
Old Frank?
Old Frank. Well, because at first I was like, wait, they're in such a nice house. I just assumed that if his brother had wealth, maybe his brother's Kevin's dad, maybe he's self-made, and the family's trashy.
Well, I think Frank came in from Ohio, so I'm not saying anything about Ohio. That's just what happens in the movie. So if you
saying something about Ohio,
if you want to draw your own, I've been to Ohio a couple times, and all I'll say is each time I wasn't like, boy, I got to get back here, But I'm from Wisconsin, so we can't talk.
Okay, I was gonna say your jokey accent that you go to often is a New York accent.
True.
But you're not from New York.
I'm just a good actor. What can I say? What can I say?
Yeah, I was going to ask who you train with after this and get their card because, boy.
Self-taught.
But yeah, I think actually to go back, I think that actually kind of holds up.
Yeah, the Frank setting it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's also one which kind of ties into this that people are like, what does Kevin's dad do? Because he never says it. And I'm like, it's a fucking white family in the 90s. Like, anything. They did a lot of, like, Yeah,
the 90s were such a heyday of just...
Yeah. So some people are like, I think he's like a mob person because when the cop shows up, he is instantly like, am I under arrest?
Hi. Hi. Are you Mr. McAllister?
Yeah.
The Mr. McAllister who lives here?
Yes.
Oh, good, because somebody owes me $122.50.
I'd like a word with you, sir.
Am I under arrest or something?
No.
I don't know, because it's like a cop is in your house and he's like, I need to speak with you. And you're just kind of like, okay, well, what the.
Yeah, that's another point, too, that, like, is shitty to Kevin, but they're not even, like, who reacts the way that all of them did when a cop is standing in their entryway?
Just 98% of the family actively ignored him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the dad says his thing and then just walks away. And then the mom is the only one that's like, what's up? But I think that was mainly because the pizza guy was there.
Right.
But
yeah.
I mean, I guess if the cop was, hey, big ups to Joe Pesci's character, because that was a good plan to be like, oh, we're just making sure, there's a lot of break-ins, so we want to make sure you're good. And then they just tell him every home security thing. That's fucking.
Yeah, we're going to be going on a trip.
Yep.
We're going to be, who won't be here.
Yeah, exactly. And then also, like, we have timers, we have this, we have that. So, I mean, they did a good job. I don't think Frank did it, or I don't think the dad's really in some crazy mob shit or anything. The two that I did like, though, the two theories were that Old Man Marley is Kevin from the future, and so he came back. There was something about he had a wound on his hand, and this is the only thing that I read that I'm like, you're really reaching here, because they were like, the wound on his hand signifies his relationship with his son, because at first when you see him shoveling, when the kids look at him through the window and you see him shoveling and they're like, he's fucking insane. First off, as a Midwesterner, if this dude shovels the sidewalks and salts them on his own accord every night, that dude's a fucking saint. That is one of the worst things. Joey, you probably fucking know. You're from Chicago. That is like what Joey gets it. But that is like one of the things where it's like, especially if it's if a storm's coming in at night and you're just like, fuck, I got to go out there and salt the sidewalks before it hits, and like, but it's like the least, it's way you don't want to do it. And this dude is old and he's doing it.
It kind of adds on to the Kevin's family is that shitty that they're like, who's doing a nice thing just to do a nice thing? We wouldn't do that. Like, why are
yeah, they're like what's his angle? What's he fucking going for? But yeah, so there's the theory that he's Kevin from the future because he does pop up at the perfect times to save Kevin. And he knows he has that thing at the church where they have a very deep conversation. So, okay, when we first talked, you had an issue with Kevin going to the store by himself as an 8-year-old.
Because, like, there were multiple occurrences where he was somewhere, like, going to the store, shopping by himself, paying for everything, cashier not saying anything.
Well, she gave him the questions.
Are you here all by yourself? Ma'am, I'm 8 years old. You think I'd be here alone? I don't think so.
Where's your mom?
My mom's in the car.
Where's your father?
He's at work.
What about your brothers and your sisters?
I'm an only child.
Where do you live?
I can't tell you that.
Why not?
Because you're a stranger.
Right, but then also, like, not following up with it, like, just asking the kid. Of course the kid is going to be like, yeah, I'm fine.
I mean, he had some good answers. He had some slick answers to the question.
Right, but a kid who was left alone often has probably had to grow up and be more...
That's true.
Yeah.
He's heard
so
the
like,
questions before.
Yeah. And then he goes to a Santa Claus and literally asks for his family back.
Santa, hold on. Can I talk to you for a minute?
Yeah, if you make it quick, Santa's got a little get-together he's late for.
Okay. I know you're not the real Santa Claus.
What makes you say that? Just out of curiosity.
I'm old enough to know how it works.
All right.
But I also know that you work for him. I'd like you to give him a message.
Shoot.
I'm Kevin McAllister, 671 Lincoln Boulevard. Do you need the phone number?
That's all right.
Okay, this is extremely important. Would you please tell him that instead of presents this year, I just want my family back. No toys, nothing but Peter, Kate, Buzz, Megan, Linny, and Jeff. And my aunt and my cousins. And if he has time, my Uncle Frank. Okay?
The whole family, too. It's not just like...
And the Santa doesn't stop at any point and is just like, wait, there's a child alone at night asking for his family back. Maybe I should call the cops.
Yeah.
Maybe I should figure out what's going on.
You would think any sane adult would be like, all right, I guess this kid's coming up at night. That's a little weird. But also, in the winter, it gets dark at like 4:30. So it could have been around 5. So it's like, whatever. But yeah, he comes up and is like, I want my family back. I'm sure he was probably like, damn, okay, I guess, you know, some of his family died. And then he lists off 10 people. And the dude at no point is like, hold on, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you good? Instead, he's like, man, this kid could use some Tic Tacs.
My elf took the last of the candy canes home to her boyfriend.
That's okay.
No, don't be silly. Everybody sees Santa's got to get something. Here, pull out your little paw there. There you go. Don't spoil your dinner.
Oh, Tic Tacs. If that was ever a thing, they're not good.
Did you? Oh, I used
like
to.
the candy of the 90s.
I used to love the orange ones.
Oh, yeah, those are all right. But really, though, they're not. They're not even like, okay, what's their purpose? They're not candy. They're a mint, right?
Yeah.
But they're not particularly minty. Like, they really don't freshen your breath. But they're not tasty like a candy. So it's like, really, what are you? What are you trying to do? I don't really like them at all. Like, they're just not... I don't know.
Wow. All right. So Disney and Tic Tacs are 2 of your no-goes.
Fuck them.
The world would be a better place without them, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just saw that kid, especially at the store. I'm like, he's on his grown man shit. He's going about his business. He's buying some. He even had the perfect moment when he leaves the store and he's walking with the bags. He's like, I got to go home and do laundry. I got to take care of the house. And then the bags rip. And he has that just that defeated, can I catch a fucking break? Like that kind of, attitude. And then he goes home, does laundry where I'm like, it took me a long time to learn how to do laundry. And he's just fucking tossing shit, kicking the door closed, doing whatever.
Yeah, maybe because he's been shit on so much. Because even they were saying... in the beginning, he was like, I've never packed a bag before. Can someone help me pack a bag?
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck off. Like, figure it out. So maybe this is just like him being able to be like, oh, you fuckers like made me do all this stuff alone and now you're gone and I'm happy you're gone.
Yeah, it could be his moment where he's actually like, you know, this is a lot better because now I don't have to work around them. I can do what I normally do and do that. But then he also had, so this is like the biggest example for me is he's talking to Marley at the church, old man Marley.
Another example of an adult seeing a child alone somewhere without reporting it.
I mean, a kid at a church?
Alone? With an old man? That's not so normal.
We know a lot of stuff like that got swept under the rug in the 90s, so we're not that type of podcast, but...
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's like having this so I did like how and this was just the comic in me, how that church choir was basically having a bar show where there was like 7 people in the church and they're just like, fuck it, we gotta sing anyways, we gotta do it. And good for them, very professional. But so Marley shows up and they're talking and Kevin is like, they're having this conversation about family, and Marley tells him about his brother and how they don't get along. Was his brother or his son?
I think it was his son.
It was his son. And he's talking about how his son...
They're not talking anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's why he has to come to see his granddaughter. And they're talking about family, and Kevin is like,
I've been kind of a pain lately. I said some things I shouldn't have. I really haven't been too good this year.
Yeah.
I'm kind of upset about it because I really like my family. Even though sometimes I say I don't. Sometimes I even think I don't. Do you get that?
I think so.
and so it's like that emotional maturity where he's like, in the moment, I'm mad at them. And, and I say some things, but I don't mean them because I love them and they're my family and this and that. And it's like, so that's what I'm saying. The duality of they're good and bad. His family is bad up front, but deep down they're good. Kevin is good up front. Deep down, he's a little fucking demon boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. He has been failed by many, many adults throughout his life. But then, okay, here's the big theory. Here's the big one that I wholeheartedly sign on to is Kevin grows up to become Jigsaw from the Saw movies.
I believe that.
And I think it tracks.
Yeah, I think it tracks. Because, I mean, his ingenuity, if you will, his jump to action when under pressure and, like, comes up with all these torture methods to torture these adult men who are trying to, like, the family toxicity and, like, angst. I mean, it's kind of all like his origins. We're watching the Jigsaw's origin story is really what we're watching.
Exactly.
When we're watching alone.
I think this one has the most evidence of being true because then Macaulay Culkin did a short that was this like YouTube series called Drivers, where he brought back Kevin and that is the actual, it's not just Macaulay Culkin and people are like, oh, there's similarities. It's like, nah, he's Kevin. And he's this Uber driver, this disgruntled Uber driver. He gets a call from his mom, doesn't answer it. And the dude is like, oh, you're not answering your mom's call? That's cold. And he's basically like, let me tell you about cold. And then like goes through like, they leave you at Christmas time and then they leave you in New York and this and that. And the dude's like, oh, fuck, that's a little crazy. And then as they're driving, this dude shows up to carjack him. And then Kevin is like, I got this. Hog ties the dude, throws him in the trunk. He goes right back into fucking sicko mode, and he just throws him in the trunk, and then brings him to like a basement or some shit, and then just like murders this dude, and then starts like dancing around all bloody. So I think those pieces fit.
Yeah, I'd say so. I love that Macaulay Culkin was down to do that too. That's really fun.
Yeah, I could imagine like the pitch. I mean, I'm imagining it's not like a big web series either. So I'm sure this dude and him were cool because it's like I don't think you could get a cold email and just be like, "Hey, I think you should do this with this character." And he's like, "Wow, I've never gotten one of these before."
We're sure you've heard the theory that Kevin actually was like this murderer, possibly Saw. So we reenact that and want you to like kill these people. Cold email. I think he would have been down.
I mean, that's true. I am curious now. I'm sure the backstory is out there somewhere. But that was one I saw that theory and I'm like, oh, that's a little whatever. And then dug a little deeper and was like, oh no, there's actual like evidence that he just grew up more sick and more twisted.
I think I made this reference last time. I don't remember what I said, but something about like Kevin possibly being like a school shooter when he gets older.
Ooh, yeah, for sure.
Like that's the school shooter profile right there. Like no one's understanding him. No one makes time for him. Like he's just shunned. No one's like, yeah.
He was a good shot. There was that scene where he's shooting the army men and shit. And he's like, he doesn't miss one. Yikes.
Are we going to get canceled for talking about school shooters? God, like, is this cancel worthy? I don't know.
I don't know. As long as we don't, I'm okay. So that's what
we're not pro school shooters. Okay. Listen.
True. If you're listening to this and you're like, wow, it sounds like they're really egging them on. We're not. And I don't know where you're actually getting that, but there's a lot of people out there who think a lot of different ways. So you're getting the older kids guarantee that we are anti-school shooter.
Is this a joke?
No, it's real, okay? And it actually happens. And we at the Older Kids Podcast are firmly against it. Thank you for listening. Smash that like button. Turn on the notification bell.
I have a perfect lighthearted thing to interject for that.
Please.
I don't know what your frame is on my camera, but I can see that you can see Poncho. I don't know if they'll be able to see that.
Oh, yeah.
Right there. Look, he's in his bed.
A little sleeping. Did he watch the movie with you? What are his thoughts? Let's get him on here. Get him on mic.
He's a dog. He can't watch movies.
That's what
Although
you
he
think.
does try.
Yeah, he tried. Then do you make it easy? Do you have a little dog TV for him?
No, he'll just sit on the floor and he'll watch it. Like that.
Well, I think we got to get him. Maybe he can come back. I mean, if you could put in a word for me, I'd appreciate it.
For what?
To have him. Don't worry, we'll move on. It's
To have my dog on the podcast.
yeah, but you know, it was you know.
Is this a joke?
Yeah, it's totally a joke. Don't even worry about it. A dog on a podcast. What?
Weird. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, Poncho does have an Instagram, and I haven't posted on it since 2017, and he has like 1,200 followers.
What?
Yeah, I should probably whore him out so that Mama could not have to have a day job anymore.
Okay, I think that will get you canceled. Just that sentence right there. But
Whore him out so that Mama doesn't have to have a day job anymore? That's going to get me canceled? That's going to be what did it?
maybe. Who knows?
You know what? If it does, I'm okay with that.
I accept it with open arms.
Like anytime, like with COVID, anytime I'm like, wait, should I wash my hands before I do this? Because I wash my hands a lot. And then it's like, I touch these groceries and then I touch this. And then I'm like, you know what? If I get taken out by touching something that touched something briefly for a moment, it deserves to have me. Take me swiftly. I'm over this. Like it's, yeah.
That's good. Well, what's your lighthearted, your take?
My lighthearted take?
Yeah, you said you had a lighthearted.
Oh, it was Poncho.
Oh, that was it?
Just him sleeping in the background looking.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say it. Oh, that was it?
Can you see him now?
Yeah.
His head's like hanging off.
He probably
Poncho.
will.
Poncho. He's not moving.
Is he's actually okay though?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He just likes.
All right.
Okay, I think a low was that all the adults don't question him when he's out. They don't question that he's a child alone.
Yeah.
I know you said it was sadistic, like, you know, trying to kill the burglars, but I think that was a high for him. That was him being like, look, I don't need my family. I can take, that's both a high and a low.
I can kill all on my own.
Look. Exactly. I did like that in the beginning when he's like,
I made my family disappear. I made my family disappear.
Yeah.
I think finding silver linings is a high. And an asset and skill that we all could use more of.
That's true. If you take one note from Kevin McAllister, let it be finding the silver linings and not hunting people for sport.
Not hunting. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Why did he never call the cops? He never called the cops. Because he ordered pizza. So his phones were working. Because I remember in the beginning, because like, I remember you talking about John Hughes setting it up so it was like believable that they forgot Kevin. They lose his passport. The older sister miscounts the heads of the kids because the neighbor kid is fucking around at their house. Like, she mistakes him for Kevin. But I do feel like he also said that in the film, it's like, oh, the phone lines are going to be down for days. Yeah. But then he's able to call for a pizza to get delivered. So he could have, so any theory that says that's why he didn't call the cops because the phone lines were down, that doesn't make sense to me because he was able to call for a pizza. Or he could have just gone to a neighbor's house.
But everyone was gone.
Not old man, whatever his face.
Yeah, but he's scared of him.
Yeah, that's true.
It is a good point because at first I was like, oh yeah, because of the phones, but he used it, and also in the beginning when they show that the phones are down, he says it'll take a couple days, and the mom is like, yeah, fuck off, like we're not gonna be here, we don't care. Which even
Shout block. We're gonna be gone for a really long time, so it doesn't matter to us if anyone is gone.
yeah, she goes out to the street. She says, okay, bye. We are leaving for a long time. Yeah, but I did have that as a high, though, that John Hughes did, because when he first wrote it, like you said, he was worried that this wouldn't be believable, that a family could leave a kid. So he did make sure to wrap everything up, that they threw away his ticket. They, counted wrong. They whatever. And I maybe I'm just trying to make it make sense. Maybe he was like, okay, all those things would happen, but also just to be safe, we're going to make the family fucking monsters to this kid. So then maybe that's why some of these theories are popping up, is they're like, well, the family's so shitty, they would just leave him anyways. And that's kind of like his failsafe of covering his end on the writing.
Yeah, I think you said it too, though. It was like, it's one thing to make them shitty, but they really leaned into
They went fucking in on this kid.
Yeah. And, we did talk about this before, too. I know there's all these different moments where they didn't see that Kevin wasn't there, or they didn't notice that Kevin wasn't there. But when the dad is standing at the gate at the airport and all the kids are running by and he still doesn't notice that Kevin's not there, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that is just a prime example of bad parenting. Is they're in the airport movie, and you're like, okay, at that point, you're not looking around, and I'm not expecting them to like count and be like, Lisa, blah blah blah, da 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 da. But it's like you would think you notice, like, hold on, I haven't seen one kid in a while.
Literally over 12 hours.
Yeah.
Like the youngest kids, who's the most reliant and dependent on us as adults to take care of him. He's like,
and he's not quiet either. It's not like he's just a quiet kid who lurks around. Like, he's always talking about something, and usually it's, hey, can you help me? I'm a fucking child.
And if you think he's such a dickhead, wouldn't you be like, I haven't been annoyed lately? Where's the source of my annoyance at?
Yeah.
Not
You're
here.
like, weird. I'm flying to a different country, and yet I'm so calm. Why is that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because this kid I fucking hate isn't here. That's a good, yeah.
I wonder if there are any real cases of kids being left behind when parents fly internationally.
Ooh.
I want to Google that after we're off of this. There has to
I hope not, but there's no way there isn't.
be. I'm honestly shocked my mom didn't do that.
Really?
Yeah. I've been left places.
So is this why you wanted to do this movie? You're like, it's a bit...
It's like cathartic for me.
It hits home. It hits home.
She didn't leave us any, I think she lost us. I think a lot of moms do this, though. Lose kids in department stores. That's not that crazy. Right?
No, I mean, I got lost at the Mall of America one time when I was 5, and that was...
What happened?
Very... It's up for debate. Have you ever been to the Mall of America?
No, but I know it's huge, right?
Yeah, so it's there's different, multi-layered, there's floors. And on the top floors, they have cutouts so you can look down on the lower floors. And I just remember looking down and seeing people walking, and I was holding my dad's hand. And this is the part that's up for debate. I say he let go, he say I let go. But then I remember turning around, just letting go and being like, he's still here. And then turning around and
wouldn't he feel that and then try to get you?
I don't know, but he says I let go or whatever, and then he turned around and then I wasn't there. Who knows? But some teenage girls did find me because I was sitting on a bench crying, and it's like a fucking 5-year-old. And okay, see, this is an example of good adults being like, I think this kid needs help.
Don't teenage girls.
Huh?
They're like, this child's alone. But
Yeah.
maybe that's where you and Kevin differ, is you're not sadistic and you were crying and not fuck yeah, dude.
Kevin would be like, ugh, finally I can go read my book. He has time to go do whatever. But they found a security guy and they took me to the Lost and Found. which was just a dark room filled with random shit. And then
human children in an item like a lost and found room with items. Like
I was the only kid.
Right, but you can't be the only kid they've ever had lost at the Mall of America. So what I'm saying is like they don't even have like a room that's not just like where the mittens and other things go. Like they just put you in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, someone stayed with me. They weren't just like, all right, this is where. I wonder, actually, that's a good point. I never thought about that. What if I am the only kid to ever get lost in the Mall of America?
Highly doubtful.
That'd be pretty fucking cool. I should put that in my bio. But
yeah.
You
may have seen him.
You may have seen him in 1997.
Yeah. You know him from.
Yeah, I do actually. I have thought about like, because that's obviously a story for those girls. They're like, we just found this kid fucking crying.
Remember when we found that kid?
Yeah. So I want to be like, thank you for letting me not get snatched up.
You know what? If you're watching this right now, I challenge you to find those teenage girls. When was it? 97? When was it?
I think so, like 96, 97.
Who found him crying on a bench. If you or someone you know.
This is like reverse America's Most Wanted. America's nicest.
Let us know. And maybe you could be on the podcast. Don't listen to him. You can be on the podcast.
For $1,000. You can be on this podcast. No, that would be pretty crazy though. But so here it is. So you've been left. You've been Kevin'd.
Oh, in the department store?
In the store, yeah.
Yeah, I'd also kind of fuck around though. I remember the like little turnstile things that they'd put clothes on.
You go in the middle?
What's that?
You'd go in the middle?
Oh yeah, and I would try to scare like people by waiting for them to grab clothes and like moving them and
just random people.
Yeah, anybody that was like shopping at that turnstile or whatever it's called, like I would just try to like move the clothes or say something when they're approaching. And so it's not shocking that my mom lost me when I was hiding in the middle of clothing racks trying to fuck people.
Yeah, I don't know if that's more of a lost, and I think it's just you running away.
Yeah, what? I don't know. When kids run away, it's like, that sounds like, even if shit's bad at home, like that sounds savage as fuck.
It is, because like looking it back as an adult now, it's like you have no idea what you're in for. Like as a kid, they're like, I'm running away, and it's like, really? Like you're gonna find shelter, you're gonna find food. I feel like it's how we look at like The Walking Dead or like zombie shit now, where it's like, oh man, you have to think about all those things. It's like the same thing, but for just a little kid in today's world, because they have to avoid zombies, pedophiles, and
yeah, we have a 2020 version of you running away, but it's actually just COVID, and you're just trying to make it in.
You're just trying to stay in the woods away from people.
Yeah.
People are coming up like, hey, and you're like, ugh.
Sadly, yes.
I like it.
My grandfather was a quiet fellow. And I always wondered, why does he not talk to anybody? And why does he often hide in the garage for hours? And why does he always talk about wanting to go into the woods and be alone for, I don't know, weeks at a time? And now that I'm an adult, I'm like, God damn, he was onto something.
He was right. He fucking, because once you start talking to someone, then you have to keep going. You know, it's rude to just stop and walk away. So it's like,
yeah. He also would lie on the floor a lot, and I did that the other day, and I was like, oh damn, this feels
good for the back.
Yeah, it's good for the back.
It's good for the, yeah, because as a kid, you're like, nothing hurts. I don't need this, but.
Oh, no. I got crick in my neck the other day, and it didn't go away for a couple days. I'm getting old.
This is it. This is the beginning.
This is how it goes?
This is how it starts.
Do you ever I won't work out for like months at a time, and then I'm like, I'm going to go for a run today, and I can go for a run. Do you ever think like there's going to be a day where I'm going to be like longingly looking out a window at people like just walking, and I'm like going to be like, God, I took it for granted.
I wish I could have walked when I had the chance. Yeah. Yeah, I think, but at that point, you're gonna be so tired. You're also just gonna be like, ugh. And shit's it's gonna be all right there too. Like you won't even have to get up to like change anything. Netflix is gonna be in glasses by that point. So like,
it's gonna be downloaded into our consciousness.
Exactly. So,
well, you've certainly veered off course.
I think a little bit. So, bringing that back to, I don't even know how to tie that back in, but what did you have anything? I just had, my only other highs were the characters of John Candy as the Polka King from Sheboygan,
yes.
old Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
Who's actually killing it. Forget exactly how much he said they sold, but I crunched the numbies a little bit. And that means roughly about 2% of the city bought his album, which was pretty crazy. And Polka's pretty big, and he is touring 48 to 49 weeks out of the year.
You want to talk about bad parents? Look at us. I mean, we're on the road 48, 49 weeks out of the year. We hardly see our families. Joe over there, gosh, he forgets his kids' names half the time. Ziggy over there, he's never even met his kid. Eddie. Let's just hope none of them write a book about him.
How many weeks are in a year? 52?
52.
That's most of the year, dude.
That's most of the year.
Christmas, dude, and holidays, dude.
And that's a lot of bowling alleys. So, hats off to him. I stand a king. I stand a king. Look, I'm not young. I don't know what the fuck they're saying. But also for John Candy, he improvised most of his lines. Did you know that?
Not surprised. Did not know that, but I'm not surprised.
Did that. Also, the Shitty Santa, I liked him. And then, of course, I don't know how the fuck they snuck it in there, but Sergeant Balzac.
Family Crisis Intervention, Sergeant Balzac.
How do you get that joke in there?
It sounds pretty 90s, to be honest.
That's like a kid joke. That's a Simpsons joke.
Yeah.
And they do it. No one talks about it.
I think that's a great point to make, is in any rewatching, even Disney movies, there's like adult level jokes that you're like, wait, what the fuck? That's what they were saying? I had no idea that's what they, like, why didn't I catch the blatant penis joke in this Disney movie? Also, why was that blatant penis joke in the Disney movie in the first place? Like,
why is this dude Sergeant Balzac? Why? And then when they cut to him too, when he's on the phone talking to the mom, his nameplate is blocked partially, so it just says Sergeant Balls. I mean, I guess the crew has to have some fun too. I guess. I don't know.
I guess so.
But also, hey, one thing I did forget to say last time, which I guess doesn't matter for the listeners now, Danny DeVito was considered for the role of Harry, and Christopher Lloyd was considered for the role of Marv.
I always get their names. Danny DeVito ended up playing Marv.
Marv's the tall one. Joe Pesci was no.
Oh.
Yeah, Marv's the tall one. Joe Pesci was Harry.
What's weird is like those four guys are all each other in an alternate universe in a way.
Yeah, for sure.
Like short, and I mean the dynamic's definitely there. I mean, Christopher Lloyd would have been a really good, but did he turn it down? I feel like he would turn that down.
I think he turned it down, or I don't know why, but also both of them, Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, they didn't think the movie was going to be, while they were shooting it, they didn't think it was going to be a hit. They thought it was just going to be a big fucking flop. So because of that, they just went over the top with their performances, because they're like, this isn't going to matter. No one's going to see it. It's not. That
kind of made it amazing, though.
Exactly.
Like,
and that's what fucking sold it. Also, another little Joe Pesci thing. He deliberately avoided Macaulay Culkin on set because he wanted Macaulay Culkin to think he was mean.
Method as fuck.
I know, right? And then also, get this, during a rehearsal of a scene where Harry attempts to bite off Kevin's finger, Joe Pesci actually bit him hard enough to leave like a little scar. Yikes. Cancel Joe Pesci.
Things you could do in the 90s.
Right.
People would sue you for everything.
Yeah. Fucking
God,
crazy,
those were the days when you could bite a kid's hand and not get sued. You know what I mean?
When Hollywood was Hollywood, and you didn't have all these people putting their fingers on it, being like, this is what you need to do. This is who you need to cast. They're like, no, you're going to be mean to this kid. Cameras are off. Fuck the kid up. No one cares.
Rough him up a little bit. Show him who's boss. Make him actually fear you.
Exactly. That's fucking... Well, did you have anything else for...
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so glad you asked me to do this, to relive some of my childhood trauma. And
you know, that's why I started the podcast. I said, pick a movie that you have a connection to in the worst way possible. And people are like, I like this movie. I go, no. I want a movie that makes you cry.
Perfect.
And everyone's like, yeah, I'll do it. I don't give a fuck.
And then you just psychoanalyze and fuck with people's heads.
Exactly. I'm actually in school right now, and this is like part of my hours. So you got. That's my prank show.
You got.
You've been analyzed. All right, well, it's a prequel, sequel, reboot. What I forget what we said last time.
What was that again?
Prequel, sequel, reboot. What would you like to see? Obviously, there are sequels, but
I would like to see a reboot of a Jigsaw, like the Road to Jigsaw.
So you want the school shooter movie?
Oh, oops.
Yeah.
No, I don't. No, I don't want that at all.
Okay.
No. Yes.
So just after that.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, let's have Kevin not be a school shooter, but just. I guess it'd be kind of Dexter-esque, right? Like Dexter, is a murderer.
Yeah.
Under the radar. So yeah, I could see like a Road to Jigsaw movie.
That's a good title too. The Road to Jigsaw. That sounds like fucking Morgan Freeman.
Jigsaw.
The Road to Jigsaw.
Yes. How about you?
I think it was that same thing, but it was expanding on that short where he's driving around and he's like picking people up from the airport.
Yes.
That's what it was, because he was like Dexter hunting other parents that do this to kids. So he would pick up the
on a trip.
Yeah.
Where's your kid at?
Exactly.
I'm gonna kill you.
Exactly. Yeah. Also, if you could rate me 5 stars before I kill you, that would be great. There's water in the back. That's what it would be. It would be the Uber sequel, the expanded universe, him getting into the Jigsaw.
Director's cut.
Director's cut. The Road to Jigsaw director's cut. Find it on Blu-ray this holiday season.
Only on Blu-ray.
Only it's straight to Blu-ray. Do people say that now instead of straight to DVD? Because that doesn't sound bad. Yeah, I made a movie and went straight to Blu-ray. I'd be like, oh, fucking congrats, dude. That's probably in 4K? Like, that's good quality.
Straight to Blu-ray.
I feel like that has to be the thing. Because DVDs, they're on the way. I guess it's like straight to streaming. But
do you think in some American household there's people who still have DVD and CD towers in their living room? There has to be.
I mean, I have a couple. I got a couple towers, but I don't think that's.
You got a couple towers?
No, I don't have towers, but I do have DVDs.
Okay. I think I have Harry Potter on Blu-ray in a box, but I don't have a Blu-ray player. I'm never gonna see these movies. What am I gonna do?
I mean, you could just get a Blu. They're not even that expensive anymore. They're literally the new DVD players. They're not expensive anymore.
So I could just buy one.
You could just buy one.
Or for the price of that, I could just own them online. All the movies. We're going way off. This was great.
True.
This was fun.
True. Well, we're gonna get out. I think I don't know if I told you this last time, but we do have to go write that sequel. Sort of whatever we decide, we have to go write it and then pitch it, get it made.
Send a email to Alt Macaulay.
Exactly. Like, hey, we got this idea, okay, and we think it might go straight to Blu-ray. So,
Listen, I know a guy at the Blu-ray factory.
he can do a couple like off the side pressings, and we'll be in business. Well, Jacquie, it has been a pleasure 2 times over. Thank you for coming on. You got anything coming up? What do you want to plug? Where can people find you?
All the shows I got coming up, my guy.
Yeah.
No, they can find me at It's Jacquie Brown. ITSJACQUIE Brown, like the color. I need to change my name because it's really annoying to explain and spell it. But turns out there's a lot of Jacquie Browns. So that's where you can find me on Instagram. I'm mostly posting metal music and pictures of my dog.
Together?
Sometimes.
Nice.
Because, yeah, that's all I have to live for anymore.
Hey, well.
Just metal poncho.
That's something. That is something.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you for coming on. Of course, you can find me at Grant Radish, GrentRadish. Follow the podcast on all platforms at The Older Kids Pod. Like I said before, smash that like button, bash the subscribe, just elbow drop the notification bell, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. This is falling apart. Rate and review 5 stars to 3 stars. If it's less than that, just email me and tell me directly. Let's just be adults about this. Also, check out the Patreon for $2, less than a cup of coffee. You can show your support. A few dollars more than that, you can see democracy at work. For $1,000, you can be on this show. And I'll say it. If someone finds those girls who found me in the Mall of America, I will have you on the show for however many girls there were. That's how many episodes you can be on. I'll just fucking say it. Because that would be insane. Yeah. But you never know. So I think that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Oh, also, I forgot to do the ad read for this episode. This episode is brought to you by Mall of America. Mall of America, perfect place to lose your kid. Mall of America. That's a new segment I'm doing. It's just, they don't sponsor us, but I want to give them like a taste of what it would be like if they did, I just want these companies to see, this is what I can bring to the table. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening. Tune in next week when we have another great guest and another classic movie. Bye.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.